Welcome to the Jordan Christian Center series, Reconnecting Through Revelation. During this year-long program, we will take a word with the prefix re and do an in-depth study into this word. Today's word is restoration. Join us as we begin reconnecting through Revelation.
Restoration. The root word for restoration is restore. Re meaning to do again, and store defined as a quality, a quantity, or supply of something kept for use as needed. There are many different examples of restoration in the Bible as it pertains to God's church and God's people. The life of the people in the Bible during the Old Testament and the New Testament serve as a reminder and a testimony that God will restore a fallen church and a fallen people. When we talk about restoration, we're talking about being repaired, renewed, refurnished, reconditioned, rebuilt, or reconstructed because of a fallen state in our lives. The Bible's definition is to receive back more than we lost to the point of where the final state is greater than the original condition. Restore is represented by a variety of Greek and Hebrew words. It is used in a literal and a figurative context. Apostolikostasis is the Greek language or the Greek word meaning restoration. In the literal sense, it's clearly true. It's very clear. It means life, land, property, health, and other tangible items that are subject to be restored. In the book of Mark, in the 3rd chapter, the 5th verse, it says, Jesus showed us an example of restoration. How did he do that? It says, he looked around at them and he was angry, deeply depressed at the stubborn hearts of the people. He said to the man, stretch out your hand. And when he stretched out his hand was completely restored. The figurative use of restore falls under 3 areas in the Bible, and it has about 6 passages to consider. First, there's a personal restoration found in the book of Psalm in the 23rd verse, or the 23rd chapter in the 3rd verse. The psalmist pleads for a personal strength in his trials. In the book of Psalms in the 51st chapter in the 12th verse, David is seeking a sense of restoration in the light of his grievous sins against God. Secondly, Galatians 6:1 calls for a mature believer to identify with their own strength and to mentor the spiritual health of an ailing believer. Thirdly, there are references to an eschatological restoration that relates to death, judgment, and the final destination of our soul as we are human and our mankind ends. When it's time for us to end, it talks about death, judgment, and our final destination of our soul. In book of Acts, in the 3rd chapter, in the 21st verse, it says, heaven must receive him until the time comes for God to restore everything, as he has promised a long time ago through his prophets. The idea of restoration of the world has been originally preached back in the Old Testament by the prophets. By the time of the conceptualization of Jesus coming into this earth, restoration had already been spiritualized. Mark 9:12 says, the moral and spiritual regeneration preached by John the Baptist is described as a restoration and viewed as a fulfillment of Malachi 4:6, which says, and he shall turn the hearts of fathers to children and the hearts of children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. It is to be observed, however, that the work of John the Baptist be characterized as restoration only in the sense of the inception of the regeneration that was to be completed by Jesus.